What's going on, guys? So I just finished watching this movie called 7 Days to Live. It was released in the year 2000. It takes place in Europe, but it was actually shot in the Czech Republic. It's directed by a guy named Sebastian Nyman. This is the only movie I could find that he ever worked on, the only movie in his filmography. It stars Amanda Plummer. She was in Battlestar Galactica, the TV series. She's been in a whole bunch of these movies I've never heard of, all these B movies. My Life Without Me, Freeway, 8.5 Women. It also stars a guy named Sean Pertwee. He was in Dog Soldiers. He's been in also a bunch of movies I've never heard of. Stiff Upper Lips. Who knows? Anyway, they play a husband and wife who recently lost their son. Their son died eating cereal. He was eating some granola cereal with some bananas in it, and a hornet or a bee landed on a chunk of the food, and he ate it and choked to death. It's a pretty tense scene. The dad is going to cut his windpipe and stuff. So anyway, they're struggling to cope with his loss, right? So they move to this countryside, into this house. And at the very, very beginning of the movie, it takes place in 1976, and there's a police officer and two of his friends, I assume, trying to break into this house to see what's going on in there. I don't really know what the story was, but they break in and they find this, fat old lady dead. Like, dead long time. Like, she's been dead for a week. She's all yellow and bloated, and it looks like she drowned to death. And there's her husband just sitting there, like, catatonic, like, holding a hammer. They touch him, like, what happened, Frank? He's like, freaks out. He gets arrested for the murder. But she's just sitting in this living room in a chair staring at this blank TV, and he was just sitting in the same position for a week, and it's kind of a mystery. Anyway, so this couple moves into that house to get over the loss of their son. The husband character is a struggling author, and his last book really bombed. It did terribly. And anyway, out of the blue, like, nothing really is explained why she's cursed, but she'll see the number 7 in a mirror, and all these mysterious things start happening. She'll be listening to the radio, and the weatherman will say, you have 6 days to live, and she'll be driving into town, and one of the signs will say, you have 5 days to live. Like, there's not a very good special effects in here, but the wife will start seeing signs, counting down the days of the week until she dies. And also, as that's going on, her husband is becoming more and more reclusive. He's hiding in the basement more, locking the basement doors. He's writing a lot in his book. He's like, all these pages are flowing out of him. He's getting increasingly abusive and aggressive towards her, and she stays with him, and they're fighting more and more, and he's pulling his hair, and he's belittling her, and, kicking furniture over, just being a dick. He's even being an asshole when their friends come over. The husband's friends with this publisher of his, and his wife will come over and visit, and they're playing Scrabble, and the Scrabble words the wife will pick out will spell 3 days, and she'll be like, it's a sign. And the husband's just being a total asshole. And anyway, she eventually wants to figure out what was going on in this house, because she'll see pictures, and the pictures will look at her and move. She'll see their dead son outside in the swamp, and she'll wake up like it was a dream, but she'll have mud all over her legs. She talks to the sheriff guy who was back in the 1976 scene where they were breaking into the house originally. He says he doesn't want to tell her, it's a secret. His wife doesn't want to tell her, but she gives him an address to the guy who got arrested for the crime. He's in prison, and he's still in a very kind of mentally unstable state, and he's just sitting in this room collecting newspaper clippings, and then the only way he talks is through, like, newspaper news narratives, or he'll just recite articles of what happened. And eventually he tells her that the whole house is built on this swamp full of dead people, like some sort of mass graveyard type deal, like from Poltergeist. And this movie does rip off Poltergeist and, like, Amityville a little. It's nowhere near as good, though. This movie's pretty boring. Like, it tried to be suspenseful, and it was like, not suspenseful, it's just really dull. The acting wasn't very good, especially the wife's character. It's just, she was really unbelievable. It's really kind of painful to watch. Yeah, but it had good cinematography and stuff, I guess. Like, it didn't look low budget or anything, but towards the end, when their husband and wife is finally, it's like on the final day, and they're fighting, and like, she'll go downstairs to see what he's hiding down there, and he's hiding their son, or what appears to be their son, but he's really just this mud creature made out of mud, and they're fighting, tooth and nail, and eventually she stabs the mud creature, the mud son, and like he just turns into this terrible looking CGI mud. Let's skip to that scene. I think I should show you just how bad the special effects are. Pretty terrible. Anyway, oh yeah, so there's the scene where she reads the book, and the book is just like what the events are. Here's what I'm hiding, our son. She's like, oh, I already knew. Oh, well, he's telling me to kill you. Our son's dead. Wah, wah, wah. So where's the part? Oh yeah, she gets hit in the face with a pipe right here, and she just takes it. Look. Oh. Unfazed. She's like, that's okay. So anyway, this mud starts coming out of him. Here we go. Look at this shit fest. Oh boy. Yeah. Anyway, so the house starts to collapse, and the sheriff comes back to help pull the husband out of the collapsing house, and he has no memory of what's going on. He just starts shitting out of his eyes, it looks like. Wasn't a very good movie. Didn't really like it. Had no scares. Suspense was dreadful. Her acting wasn't that great. He plays a pretty good abusive, drunk, kind of obsessive husband, I guess, but I don't know. Wasn't that good a movie, really. I wouldn't rent it if I have to, because I pretty much just told you everything that happened. There's no real twists or anything in this movie, that's for sure. It's just bare bones story. All these mud creatures pop up, but they don't do anything, and they escape. See ya!